President Trump wrapping the NATO summit with a press conference for the ages. Operation Midnight hammering the liberal media for hyping up a preliminary low-confidence intel report that suggests the strikes on Iran's nuclear program only delayed it by a few months. Watch.
Oh, fake news, CNN? Oh, yeah, here we go. Wait till you hear this question. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated.
Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites.
Now
is that
here
Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly. It's
what is your message then?
Obliterated, Kelly. Lock it up. President Trump calling in the reinforcements to help him obliterate the fake news and the leakers who helped them. Watch.
If you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated.
Leaking that type of information, whatever site it comes out on, is outrageous. It's treasonous.
These leakers are professional stabbers. That's what they are.
And somebody's got daddy issues. NATO Secretary General giving President Trump props for fathering the ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
Like two kids in a schoolyard, you know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes, then it's easy to stop them.
And then daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
He called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you think your NATO allies deserve a good spanking? What did you make of that exchange, Dana?
Well, I loved the entire press conference, especially that it ended up in America's newsroom, because we usually don't get any of these press conferences. They happen usually in the afternoon. He took so many questions, and I kind of wanted to do a flashback to Biden at the NATO meeting last year. Oof. And just a comparison, right? Here is America triumphant. America saying, okay, we'll help. You have to help yourselves. Israelis help themselves, and then we'll come in and we'll help you. Trump was there with all of NATO saying, if you guys are willing to pony up and pay your share, yeah, we're in. We're a part of it, except for you, Spain, and we'll have a conversation about that later. The question about the daddy thing, I think it was kind of silly. I think maybe something was a little lost in translation. The president was using a metaphor. The NATO director was using a metaphor. He was talking about two kids fighting, and the dad has to come in and say, knock it off. That's what that was about. It wasn't that funny, except until Rubio lost it. He was so stone-faced the entire time, and then if you can pull it up, Marco Rubio just like breaks character and has to start laughing because he thought it was so funny. It is pretty incredible how many questions the president is willing to take, and he's there. It's been a whirlwind. Think of how much time and effort and no sleep for several days, including the ones leading up to the attack, the ones afterwards. He gets on a plane, he goes to NATO, he has all these meetings, everybody wants to meet with him. It's a very different meeting for him than it was 8 years ago.
Well, it's also a very different meeting than last year when President Biden went overseas and then came back and was incapacitated for weeks.
That's
and
right.
Then blew that big debate.
Yep.
So, Jesse, it almost seems like CNN and the New York Times are using this leaked report, whatever it is, to cheer triumphantly that perhaps the bunker buster bomber strike wasn't quite as effective as the administration is claiming. What do you make of that? And will the president get credit if he did, in fact, dismantle Iran's nuclear program?
Of course. If there's one thing America can make, it's a bomb. Ask the Japanese. Ask the Germans. I've never heard of an American bomb not working. Have you? If this didn't work and it was a dud, Netanyahu would have been on the phone with Trump saying, let's do another run. Mm-hmm. If it didn't work, the Iranians wouldn't have had a ceasefire. This was such a precise strike. They put these bombs down the mountain's ventilation shaft. Okay, this didn't have to explode and bore into the mountain. They put these things untouched, and it slid down the ventilation shaft and exploded in the main hall, and then collapsed the roof of the cavern and caused a fire. You could even see the discoloration at the top of the mountain. This wasn't like carpet bombing the North Vietnamese jungles. This was as precise a strike as you can get. They compared the target to something the size of a refrigerator. And they did it from 13,000 feet. Now, the woman is the same reporter who said the laptop was Russian. And now she says our bombs don't work. You'd think she would have been fired for getting hoodwinked by the deep state a couple years ago. But she actually got promoted. She got promoted for being wrong. She got a raise for being wrong. Now she's on CNN getting hoodwinked all over again, because that's the point. She's not there to be right. She's just there to hurt Donald Trump. And I don't understand CNN's reporting, because CNN said before the strike they were years away from getting a nuke, and then after the strike they're 2 months. So you're closer to getting a nuclear weapon after being bombed? Doesn't make any sense. The Israeli intelligence team, Petraeus, Rubio, the CIA, the IAEA, everybody says direct hit, years to come back from it. And then there's CNN alone in the corner in last place, spewing enemy propaganda. I don't think they can come back from this.
Do you think they're getting it from some sort of nefarious Iranian sources and it's wishful thinking?
Some hater in the Pentagon leaked an early report that had no confidence and just relied on some camera up in the sky. That's it. It's not like there's some Israeli spy down there in the rubble with a phone. Yep, we killed this thing. Can you guys send some food? You're never going to know what happened because the thing is a pile of rubble.
Right. Do you worry that the Iranians will, in fact, be able to rebuild in short order?
Good to be back with you. I'm glad you and Tyrus are both here. My thing is three things before. That's the right question. And I think there's some frustration on the part of the president and his team because there was a lot of success there at the NATO summit. First of all, the fact that we are now going to see our allies in NATO spend 5% of their GDP on defense in light of the changed circumstances in the world and an emboldened Russia is a really, really good thing. And the president deserves a lot of credit for that. Two, I think, and have been saying for weeks, I thought it was the right thing to do, what the president did. I was encouraging him in this chair, as many around this network were, to take advantage of everything the Israelis had done in Iran to weaken, to degrade, and to make it possible for us to control the air and over Iran. And we were able to do that. And that helped us do what you just said, strike that little target. The president made clear no nuclear program in Iran. Now, it is unclear as we sit here today how much we've set it back. I don't conflate. I listened to Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Rubio and even the president say that when they hear criticism or hear questions around this, it's almost as if people are criticizing the military. I want to be clear. I'm not criticizing the military at all, but I do think that we should follow protocol, which is to try to understand the impact that this bomb had and this attack had, which we'll do in the damage assessment. I think at the end of the day, it will be Mossad will help answer your question. Because if indeed we've damaged this as much as we believe we have, and as much as we believe our weapon systems are able to, and I'm going to give the president one more sense of credit, I give him and Biden, is the fact that we provided weapons for the Ukrainians, the courage in their will combined with our capability and effectiveness of our weapon system have helped the Ukrainians push back the Russians. So there's a lot to be proud of, but we should all understand that this is just following basic protocol. I hope the answer to your question is yes, but if it's not, the Iranians should know one thing, and I said it yesterday. We can do this the easy way by you guys coming to the table, or we can do it the hard way and send the boys back.
And maybe a girl, too.
I say boys, I mean boys and girls.
Oh, that was very nice. Very inclusive.
It's very inclusive.
Thank you for that, Harold.
My DEI way of saying it all, you know.
So, Tyrus, you and I love movies, and we love movie references.
Yes.
When I read about this strike, I was like, oh my garden, this is the plot to Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Do you think, now we oftentimes talk about movie studios not being creative enough, coming up with new material. Is the Pentagon guilty of the same thing?
No, and you know what? This is the one time it's not a movie. I'm going to take everyone back in the time machine. We all remember Jordan, right? If you were a Chicago Bulls fan, you knew that he was the GOAT, and he was the great. Every time he went out, he punished everyone. President Trump is the new Michael Jordan of government. So you don't need to go to leakers because this is what happened. I was a Celtic fan. So every time Michael Jordan went out and put 60 on somebody, you know what I said? Well, he probably should have got 61. He's not playing defense. He's just doing this. Is he the world champion? Yes. Has he stopped everyone else from getting a championship? Yes. President Trump is doing Jordan-like stuff with government right now. And they hate it. His crossovers. He's using actual peace by strength. You want to know if it worked? Iran the next day said, hey, we're going to shoot 6 missiles. One's not even, I swear, one's not even close. So, because we have to save some face. Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and what did the president say? Glad you got it out of your system. He was being, and this is the thing with the daddy thing, you're a reporter talking to the president about one of the most successful military actions of all time. And your thing was, we're going to get him on the daddy situation. And completely misread the situation. What he was saying was he was being the grown-ass man in the room. Boys are fighting in the yard. The dad comes out, fine, fight, get it out of your system. You're done? You're done? Now act right. And that's what he's doing. He's setting up the world to be a better place. And just like Jordan, when he's gone, we're going to miss him. Because I miss him now. I hated him because he wasn't a Celtic. But, man, he was the GOAT, and this is what it is, being the GOAT right now. So
To be clear, he's not the LeBron of government.
Absolutely
he's the
not.
Jordan.
He's the Jordan.
MJ.
MJ.
That's right. He's the GOAT.
I don't think anyone questioned that. He's not LeBron. LeBron's a great citizen, but he's not the GOAT.
Jesse's too young to understand that MJ's the GOAT.
Are you kidding me? I set you up. I love Jordan, even though he killed my Sixers.
Exactly. You hated him, but you loved him.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.